Some drivers don't need to be champions to become legends. That's the case with Henri Toivonen. The Finnish driver competed in the rally world in the most insane category of the competition, the famous Group B. Facing off against big names in the sport, Toivonen showcased a speed, technique, and courage seen only in the greatest motor racing competitors. Despite his skill, Toivonen didn't have enough time to become a champion, and his loss led to the demise of the dangerous category. Henri Pauli Toivonen was born in the city of Jyväskylä, Finland in 1956. His father Pauli won the Monte Carlo Rally, the 1000 Lakes, and the Acropolis Rally, becoming the European champion in 1968. Introduced to speed at an early age, Henri started kart racing at just 5 years old. As he grew older, the driver transitioned to touring cars before moving to Formula V, where he became the Finnish champion in 1977. The kart used by Toivonen was later bought by Mika Häkkinen's parents when Häkkinen was only 6 years old. Due to a Finnish law limiting the speed of new drivers, Toivonen could only compete in rallies from the age of 19. Partnered with Entero Lindqvist, the driver debuted in 1975 at the 1000 Lakes Rally in a Simca Rally 2. After retiring due to a breakdown, the duo returned to the same event 2 years later, this time with a Chrysler Avenger. With the new car, Toivonen secured a 5th-place finish. The year 1978 had the driver starting in the Arctic Rally, event valid for both the European and World Rally Championships. Henri finished second, 3 minutes and 41 seconds behind the legendary Ari Vatanen. Catching attention, Toivonen was hired by Seatjoin for 2 more World Championship events. Despite not completing the races, Toivonen secured a spot with a private Porsche team for the 1000 Lakes Rally. A similar situation occurred with Chrysler, who invited him to the Lombard Rack Rally. With Porsche, Toivonen faced a breakdown and didn't finish, but with Chrysler, he managed a 9th-place finish. The first victory for the driver came in 1978 at the Nordic Rally, part of the Finnish Championship. In the following year, Toivonen competed in 15 rallies across Finnish, British, and European competitions. In the World Championship, he participated in only 2 events, retiring from both. Despite not completing the races, his strong pace caught everyone's attention, especially the Talbot factory team, which signed him for 1980. Now with a larger team, Toivonen could compete more equally against rivals, even in his first year. In January, the driver won the Arctic Rally, but the result didn't secure a full schedule. Talbot decided to enter Toivonen in only a few events, and often he found himself involved in accidents. Throughout the year, the driver retired from the 1000 Lakes, finished 5th in the San Remo Rally, and won the Rack Rally. His aggressive and incredibly fast style made him the youngest driver to win a WRC event until Jari-Matti Latvala's triumph in 2008. In 1981, Toivonen partnered with Fred Gallagher and later with Guy Fréquelin. Even racing with a Group 2 car, inferior to Group 4 models, the driver secured a 2nd place in the rallies of Portugal and San Remo and a 5th place in the Monte Carlo Rally. The good results allowed Talbot to win the Constructors' title while Toivonen finished 7th. In that same year, the driver raced and won the last round of the British Open Rally Championship. The following year, the Finn was already well known, and Opel signed him to join the team alongside Ari Vatanen, Walter Roll, and Jimmy McRae, who would become the father of the legend Colin McRae. To many surprise, Toivonen led most of the Portugal Rally until he had to retire 5 stages from the end. Participating in only 4 other World Championship events, the driver achieved podiums in the Acropolis Rally and the Rack Rally. In the European Championship, Henri competed in 4 races, securing 3 podiums, and in British Formula 3 he raced in 1 event, finishing 10th. In a test with the March F1 team, Toivonen was 1.4 seconds faster at Silverstone than the regular driver. In 1983, the Finn stayed with Opel to compete in the insane Group B, choosing the Opel 400. The model was weaker compared to other monsters like the Audi Quattro A2 and the Lancia 37, but the driver still managed to win the Manx International Rally and the Milpists in France. In the French case, the organizers decided to ban Group P cars in the middle of the competition, leaving Toivonen and his co-driver Ian Grindrod with a consolation prize. In the WRC, he achieved a 6th place in the Monte Carlo Rally, a 4th in San Remo, and 4 retirements. In San Marino, Henri had the opportunity to drive a Ferrari 308 GTB partnered with Juha Pierinen, the navigator who would work with him for the next 2 seasons. At the end of the year, the driver competed in 2 rounds of the European Endurance Championship with a Porsche 956. After 2 podiums in 1984, Henri left Opel and signed a contract with Porsche to drive the 911 SCRS in the European Rally. With the car, the driver secured a 3rd place, a 2nd, and 5 consecutive victories, leading the championship. Title hopes ended when a back injury kept him from racing for more than 2 months. During this period, the driver missed several events, resulting in the loss of the title to Carlo Capone. In the WRC, Toivonen raced with the Lancia 037 in 5 events, with his best result being a 3rd place in the Thousand Lakes. After a dispute over contract versions, Henri decided to stay with Lancia to become an official driver for the brand. Now racing only for the Italian manufacturer, Toivonen began 1985 with a major accident. In the Costa Smeralda rally, the driver crashed into a wall, fracturing 4 vertebrae and injuring his back again. The driver only returned to the tracks in August at the Thousand Lakes, where he finished 4th. The scenario was disheartening. The Group B's reputation for being a suicidal rally increased considerably, and Toivonen had already lost his friend Attilio Bettega in the Tour de Corse. After the home rally, Henri achieved a 3rd place in San Remo, and in the rack rally, the 037 model was replaced by the infamous Delta S4. The car had 4-wheel drive and was equipped with both turbo system and a supercharger. With a car capable of competing against Peugeot and Audi, Toivonen won the rally and finished 6th in the World Championship. The following year, in 1986, the driver won the Monte Carlo Rally right away with Sergio Cresto. In the Sweden Rally, the duo was doing well, but an engine failure forced the S4 out of the race. Weeks before the Portugal Rally, Henri tested the car at the Estoril circuit, the venue for the Portuguese F1 Grand Prix at that time. At this point, reports vary. Legend has it that the time set by the driver would place him 6th on the F1 starting grid, given the times achieved by teams in a test weeks earlier. A more in-depth analysis shows that the times were recorded under different conditions than those seen in a qualifying session, making the comparison somewhat dubious. Nevertheless, Toivonen's story spread and further increased rally audiences. During the Portuguese event, driver Joaquim Santos lost control of his Ford RS200, plunging into the crowd watching the race. In the accident, 3 spectators died and another 30 were injured. Due to the tragedy, Toivonen, who was the favorite, and other factory drivers decided to abandon the race. In the Tour de Corse, Henri was sick and had a sore throat. The Finn had lost the championship lead and needed to win to recover, but at the same time, he complained about the car. The S4 was too fast and powerful for the twisty and narrow Corsican roads. The model suited Toivonen's style, but sometimes the driver himself worried about the car's behavior, which seemed to have a mind of its own. Other drivers agreed with the criticism, stating that the combined speed and layout made the event too exhausting. On May 2nd, Toivonen went off the track at kilometer 7 of the 18th stage of the race. Instead of taking a left turn, the driver veered to the right and plunged downhill into the trees. As the event took place on asphalt, the S4 lacked an extra protective plate on the floor. The aluminum fuel tank ruptured upon impact with the trees, and the car exploded in flames. Both Toivonen and his co-driver Sergio Cresto died instantly. The heat from the fire was so intense that the S4 reduced to only the burned and twisted tubular structure. The cause of the accident remains a mystery to this day. There were no close witnesses, no skid marks or strong braking signs, no marshals nearby, and the car remnants were so charred that they were useless for investigation. Walter Roll stated at the time that the Finn was taking flu medication, and Malcolm Wilson revealed that the injuries from the 1985 Costa Smeralda rally caused random blackouts. Toivonen would have concealed the condition from the team to avoid losing his place. Hours after the accident, FISA President Jan-Marie Ballester decided to ban Group P cars for 1987, and Group S was cancelled before it could materialize. Audi and Ford withdrew from the season, and Bruno Sebi won the rally with his Peugeot 205 Turbo 16E2. With so many accidents occurring, FISA was finally recognizing that the cars were too fast. A subsequent investigation indicated that the pilots' reactions were too slow to keep up with Group B models, resulting in tunnel vision. Toivonen never became a champion. The driver became famous for his aggression and a style reminiscent of Gilles Villeneuve, being highly competitive on loose surfaces like gravel and dirt, as well as asphalt. Those who saw the Finn race claim to this day that the driver had a kind of feeling, an extra sense of direction that made him special. Eddie Jordan, who was his boss during some Formula 3 races, once said that Toivonen would have been a victorious F1 driver if he had followed that path. The Finn was at his peak with 3 victories, 9 podiums, and 185 stage wins. Henri was buried in Espoo, Finland, and a memorial in his and Sergio Cresto's honor was installed at the corner where he died. In this memorial, a sealed bottle of martini is kept, and a local resident places flowers almost every day. In 1988, Michel Mouton created the Race of Champions event in honor of the driver. The race was initially contested only by rally drivers, but nowadays it has opened to competitors from other categories, such as IndyCar and Formula 1. The event's prize remains the same since its inception, the Henri Toivonen Memorial. If you enjoyed the video and want to learn more about motorsports, subscribe to the channel. Questions and suggestions are always welcome. Leave them in the comments below. Until next time.